Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I read my husband's messages and I don't know how to feel. Not sure the point of this post exactly, but I need to vent and I'm open to advice on what to do. I apologize as this might be a long one, but I'm really confused and don't really know how to feel. A 26 female was setting up something on my 34 male husband's phone when I saw a WhatsApp message from a 30 female woman whose number was saved with a really cutesy name. I couldn't help but enter the chat, and I found that she and my husband were texting like every other day, including long WhatsApp calls. They also apparently iMessage, I didn't look, and offline call a lot from the context given in the chats. Their messages go way back. I didn't get to the beginning, and there's talk of them knowing each other for 10 years. The messages were mostly them checking in on each other, starting conversations and apparently finishing up with calls, like 10-30 minutes long ones. What was most concerning was the level of emotional vulnerability going on, with her telling him how he was the only person she could really relate to and vice versa. Talk of being lonely and having no one to talk to except each other and stuff. Anytime my husband was late in replying her, as he is wont to do, she'd barrage him with messages, sometimes in caps lock, and calls. Somewhere up she asked him for a more private number, and he freely gave a number he always told me for was only family and extremely close friends. Most of their messages were very late, 10-11 p.m., when my husband would generally not respond to me if I messaged. I suspect they had a relationship in the past, but I'm not sure. Because at some point she was talking about feeling bad about having to run back to her ex anytime she needed to talk, and I was too vexed to really understand whether she meant him or someone else. I had a baby 3 months ago, and while I was pregnant, he was updating her about his hospital visits to see me, and less than an hour after I gave birth, he told her. He sent her my raw maternity pictures, and one of the first pictures I took of my baby, which I only shared to family. They talked baby care a lot, which is surprising since husband barely does anything but hold the baby for a few minutes while I poop or shower. He complained about not getting any sleep because of baby to her, while he has never risen to do anything in the middle of the night. When baby got his shots, he wasn't there, but there he was on WhatsApp whining about how immunization days were difficult. They also discussed extensively on my breastfeeding journey and associated difficulties, ESP compared to hers. Things I would pay actual money to have my husband listen to me about. The heartbreaking part was when I was the subject of their chats. When my baby was 3 weeks old, we had a minor disagreement, if it can even be called that made my husband storm out of the house and not come back or talk to me for 5 days. He stonewalls me a lot, so it wasn't out of character, but I was extremely disappointed that he didn't even care to hear about baby, who had spent over a week in the NICU after birth. When he finally came back, I tried to talk about the issue, but he literally ignored me, and I let it slide to avoid more problems. During that period, he was telling this girl in the chats how I was a hard and stone-hearted person who always wanted things done a particular way, and how he was always sad to be around me. She was even telling him to be kinder to me, that it might be sleep deprivation, hormones, new mom stress that made me act like that, and she had similar issues when she had her 3 babies. He asked for advice, and she advised him to come back home and not further discuss the issue at all with me, to just let it die. Which is what he did exactly. There's a lot more, talking about exchanging birthday gifts, planning meetups, not sure if they actually happened as the messages would drop off there. Now my husband has quite a number of female friends, which I'm absolutely okay with. I'm the more reclusive person, and he always asks me to introduce every one of my handful friends. So, why do I not know this mystery person? I'm trying not to entertain the possibility that my husband is cheating on me, because for all his faults, I always pegged him to be a faithful person. I'm really confused and feeling very conflicted. If I bring it up, I'm likely going to get an emotional outburst and/or straight-up silent treatment. I'm also ashamed that I checked his messages. It just feels so unfair, really. I've never felt lonelier and unloved than in the past year. I've had no sex in several months. He can barely get or stay hard and blames it on work problems and fear of disrupting my then pregnancy. And they were very unsatisfactory before then. I try to make jokes or start topical conversations, and I'm usually met with a monosyllabic response essentially shutting down the discussion. I was worried that he was depressed or something, but it turns out he was just exhausting his emotional bandwidth elsewhere. My thoughts. Now that you're aware of this information and how he truly feels, it's crucial to formulate an action plan. While it's true that you can't compel someone to love you, you can prioritize your own well-being and happiness. Ultimately, the decision is yours to make, and it's essential to prioritize your own happiness and fulfillment in whatever path you choose. Did you miss my previous video? How dare you? Just kidding. Catch you in this video?